In this presentation, you will learn about gender and reservation. Sexual minorities in our society have been treated as deviants due to the issue of sexuality, which has caused social division. It is considered unnatural for them to exist. The Supreme Court only recently recognized third gender as a concept independent of either gender. Moreover, the court ordered transgender people to be treated as socially and economically backwards in order to seek employment. It was clarified, however, that the verdict only concerns homosexuals and that it does not apply to other sections of society such as gays, lesbians, or bisexuals. The recent decriminalization of same-sex relationships is a long-awaited step in the right direction. However, there is a long way to go in acceptance of alternate sexualities in mainstream societies. Although there are a number of NGOs that work for the upliftment of this minority, it will only succeed if people are open to it. While the third gender remains on the margins, transgender people will have to deal with prejudice, injustice, and discrimination. In order to educate and sensitize about minority rights, political leaders and their constituent parties need to be involved as they are the gatekeepers that determine how far marginalized groups are allowed to participate in political processes. Reservation for women. While women have made significant advancements in education along with political participation, they remain underrepresented in leadership positions throughout the world. Some countries have responded to these by passing laws to enact gender parity in politics, increasingly those who wish to have gender parity on corporate boards. A country's behavior regarding women likely relates to its adoption of quotas. In both India and Norway, the randomized assignment of political quotas and the unanticipated introduction of board quotas enabled researchers to perform causal analysis. So this review focused on evidence from these two settings. The Indian evidence demonstrates that quotas increase female leadership and influence policy outcomes. Having women represented in the highest decision-making bodies is a crucial element of empowering women politically. A nation cannot be proud of its citizens if it discriminates, and no civilized society can claim to be modern unless it treats its women as equal as its men. The idea of a 30% female quota at all levels of electoral bodies was proposed by Rajiv Gandhi in the late 1980s. For women's rights to be promoted at the grassroots level, women's groups wanted the reservation to be confined to panchayat level. The Indian Constitution was amended in 1993 to include the 73rd and 74th Amendments to address this demand. In 1955, the issue of quotas was raised, but the focus was on representation for women in Parliament. In 1966, the United Front government led by Deve Gowda introduced reservation in Parliament, but the changes were rejected by some male politicians who argued that women should stay at home. This was described as the battle of sexes by the media. Protests against the proposed reservation bill that would have reserved 33% of seats for women in Parliament occurred in 1998. However, men who opposed the bill, expressing concerns that middle-class women will only benefit, disrupted the proceedings several times, causing adjournments. Contemporary India is being characterized by a crisscrossing movement of oppressed groups. An overall democratization of society is essential to addressing history's longest oppression. This is even more important in a plural society like India, where political system must ensure equality between all groups to combat this oppression. In other words, the quest for gender equality and justice will need to be tied to the fight for emancipation of oppressed groups and communities. Thank you for watching the presentation. Do like, subscribe, share, and leave your comments about this presentation or any other topics you would like to learn more about.